Today on Marketing Matters, we have Tina Rousse of Tina Rousse Consultancy. After 13 years of gaining expertise in the retail and distribution pioneer enterprises, Tina's know-how has been placed at the service of her clients' marketing ambition. Over the years, Tina has helped to creatively develop challenging brands to increase their equity, leading to market pull and long-term sales. She has recruited and coached marketing teams, turning them into strategically high-performing professionals in line with each organization's goal. Today, we will learn exactly how Tina has been able to achieve it all. Hi, Tina. Welcome to Marketing Matters. How are you today?
Hi, Tiffany. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us today. I truly appreciate you carving time out of your day to join us on our podcast. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so what I do is that I believe in building relationships. So I provide tailored marketing services to all types of brands and businesses. And whether it's branding, whether it's PR, events, social media, digital marketing, marketing strategy, influencers outreach, and anything that helps you increase your brand and your business value. So I opened my agency like around 4 years and a half ago. And it's been, quite a very interesting and fulfilling journey since then.
Nice, very nice. So I was doing a little bit of research on social media one day, and I came across Tina's profile on Instagram. Tina, I reached out to you and asked you if you would be interested in being a guest on the Marketing Matters podcast, and it didn't seem like you hesitated to say yes and agree to being a guest on the podcast. What was your biggest reason for saying yes?
Well, the biggest reason was that first, mainly I'm in Lebanon, and I was asked to be part of a podcast from an agency who's based in the US. So you can imagine, like, I was like, wow, I was thrilled. And I went through your profile, and I really loved how you were really helping the others. And we have this in common: when you post about something and you're really out there putting your knowledge. And I love to share too everything that I know. So it got me really excited.
Good, good. That makes me happy. That means I'm doing my job and I'm putting things out there that people can appreciate. I truly appreciate that compliment. So when did you decide to start your consultancy agency?
Well, it's been a project on my mind like for easily 10 years, but I wasn't ready at the time. I worked in big companies in distribution, and I always thought that I wanted to do things my way with my own values. And I wanted also to have a background that wasn't similar to my potential competition. So I wanted also to have an experience in retail. So I left the distribution world and went to retail, and that's how I was able to master like the full consumer chain, from importing products, because we import a lot of brands here mainly, until selling it in store to the final consumer. So this allows me today to be able to work with all types of businesses, given the exposure I got in the companies. And that's when I figured out that I was really ready and not afraid, because it takes a lot of courage to
Mm-hmm.
do it, and in tough, difficult times. That's what I jumped, and 4 years and a half ago, precisely.
Nice, very nice. It's always interesting to hear when and how people jumped to become their own agency or to become their own or develop their own business. It's not something that's easy to do. It's something that's very scary to do, but it's so satisfying in the end if it's something that is truly meant for you. And it allows you to kind of get back control of your time and the way in which you do things. Do you agree with that?
I agree completely. And I really want to build on what you said. And, you know, because sometimes people, they come to me and they, close friends, and they tell me, we really want to leave our job. We're not happy as an employee. We really want to do our own thing. But, you know, and how can we know if we're ready or not? And I knew I was ready personally when I felt that I was dragging myself out of bed every day during the last year in my last job. Mm-hmm. So I was literally like waking up and not hardly being able to wake up and dress up and go to my work. I literally really felt that I wasn't learning anything. I wasn't happy. It was toxic for me. And it didn't make sense anymore. So this is really something, I mean, you don't need to go this far, you know, to leave your job. But this is my own story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree. I've had that same feeling before. I totally understand. What do you find, if ever, and if you are running a consultancy agency or you are your own boss and you're dealing with clients, everyone has a challenging client story. So I'll ask this in two parts. The first part is, what is your biggest challenge when dealing with clients?
My biggest challenge when dealing with clients is actually to make sure that their expectations and mine are aligned, meaning that often people expect a marketeer to be a miracle worker. You know, it's gonna like come and save their situation like in a click, or often they come and they say, you know, I have this problem and I want you to run my social media. You know, they think that social media often is the answer to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have this challenge before you sign the contract, where really like you need to be clear about the expectation, because as a previous as a person who used to work with agencies before, I know that expectations were a huge problem, because often agencies were over promising or not being clear on expectations, and the client had something else in mind. So at some point, you know, they had problems on the way. Mm-hmm. So I really wanted to clear that out, and that's why I'm always very honest and I very clear, and I set expectations and KPIs very clearly. And also clarifying really what marketing is, and clarifying the tools that social media, for example, isn't necessarily the answer to anything. If you're not social media are outdated at a point, okay, but it doesn't necessarily solve all your problems. It doesn't actually solve all.
Agree. I view social media as a branding platform first and foremost. And then I view it as somewhat, depending on what platform it is, somewhat of an SEO contributor. I do not view social media all the time, depending on the service or product. I don't always view it as a source of leads and or a source of revenue. So, I mean, and in some cases it works, some cases it doesn't, but I think all of those things have to happen outside of social media. And then if you build your leads and your other, go ahead.
I agree with you. I mean, social media is like the window of your boutique, of your agency. I mean, it's like a reference. You know, when someone speaks about your company and says that they had a great experience with you, the first thing that the person in front of them will do is, oh, okay, so can I find her on Instagram, or can I find Facebook, or it's like a reference.
Yeah.
And if you don't, so it's kind of really hard to relate in a way. but we need not to forget that we are human beings, and human relations are uh, very, very important.
Agree. Totally agree. Um, so, with that being said about social media, what's the one social media platform you find to be the most challenging um, to get engagement or to get any kind of response out of today?
Well, the most I find the most exciting and also a challenging one was and still is Instagram.
Okay.
Uh, and I think that the founders want it to be that way. Challenge us all the time with new algorithm, and we are often challenged actually to improve our content. And it's not about posting the beautiful picture and just saying hi or whatever. It's really about what is the meaning that you are putting out there. How are you giving a sense to the people? Why would anyone follow you? Why would anyone be waiting for your post? It's really about being social, and it's about engaging a lot. You need to engage a lot with your potential audience, and so to be able to get engagement. And that's what most of the time companies don't understand, is that they always expect to receive, but they are hardly willing to give and spend time and engaging with the potential crowd. So it's, I mean, if we apply certain rules, if we are really genuine, if we are really focusing on providing content with value and engaging in a consistent way, we
Mm-hmm.
can very insight.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. I think that's the one part that people don't understand about a lot of social media platforms. And to your point, you actually have to engage. It is called a social platform. You actually do have to engage to not only tell the system and the algorithms that, hey, you are alive and you do exist and you are a real person and you're not one of those bots just floating around, but also because you are giving back, or giving your audience something and not just taking. So,
Exactly.
and people don't understand, a lot of clients don't necessarily understand how much time that takes, and they don't understand that that is a separate line item. So engagement is something totally separate from me managing your social media. Um, that requires a dedicated person if you're trying to get to a certain level, um, to kind of manage and own that, and to remain engaged with your audience.
I agree. I agree. And it's always the same question that comes in. Oh, come on! I mean, how much time does it take? Come on, or engage. Why? I mean, I can sponsor it or something. Well, how many times we tried to sponsor and we didn't get followers or we didn't get
Mm-hmm.
engaged? Really, it's not at all how it works, and that's the challenge and the beauty of it at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. Um, in your opinion, and we may have touched on this just a little bit in the conversation that we just had, but in your opinion, what's the number one reason why businesses are failing at marketing today?
Well, thing is that well, first, mainly, let's say mainly, I think they are failing because the lack of the content. I mean, everything has become so fast with the social media world,
Mm-hmm.
that it leaves little margin to be really greatly creative. And on another point, we are craving today for authenticity as
Mm-hmm.
customers. So it's really about um, giving content that matters, but also being authentic, whether it's for brands or for persons. putting yourself out there. And this is not what brands and businesses are ready to do, you know. Marketing has evolved so much, and we are not falling anymore for just a nice slogan or something. It's really about mixing different elements at once, different platforms, different media tools, and it's just mastering these tools and you know, knowing what to say to your customer at the right time with the right tools, uh, and you know, responding very fast because needs of the customers are changing all the time, and we are all open on each other, and you know, it this is a lot of things to take into consideration, but businesses are not finding themselves able to cope with. So they're either missing the train or using sometimes, you know, not being daring enough with their content and juggling in the right
Mhm.
with have in marketing.
I agree. People tend to want the quick and easy way out with the most results, and that's just not how it works. It doesn't work that way in anything that you do. And I don't know why they think marketing or social media would give them anything different with sort of uh, a halfway result or a halfway effort. I'm sorry. Um, so I totally get it. Everybody thinks that marketing is also the savior to a sinking ship, and it's not. It's something that takes time. It's something that um, has to be nurtured and cared for every day. And I think people really miss that part of it. Just because it appears in front of you instantly when you open your phone, it does not mean that, you know, someone didn't take the time to develop that and create that and share it with you at the right moment.
No, absolutely. And often, I don't know if you face that, Tiffany, but often it's like they come to you and they're like, they want a big thing and they want to be creative and they want something that no one did and they want to do this and that, and you come up with something and they're like, oh, you know, it's either they're afraid of, you know, taking the risk or being the first to try something, or and then we found ourselves with this sadly very classic and limited initiative, and to try, you know, if it works we try something else, and it's really have to be like bolder. That's what we're missing. I mean, with the tough economic times it's not helping. That's mainly what's keeping also the brand behind, but you know, it's our job to that actually that's what I love also what you do on your platform, because you give reasons for people to do things and to try things differently, and you explain it, and that's how with patience and we can, you know, reach the point when people understand more what marketing, you know, is about.
Mm-hmm. Um, I agree. We're on the same page. So I have some rapid fire questions that shouldn't be too difficult for you. But the first one is, if you met me today and I was a client, a potential lead, what would be your sales pitch to me to make me buy into what you offer?
That's the toughest question you can ask me. Because as I can sell anything,
Mhm.
anything, but selling myself like in front of you, like without you asking me anything, it's I'm a total disaster, you know. Let's see. What? Oh God. Okay, so let's say that what happens to me. So you know, what I do is that actually I would tell you like when someone asks me, what do you do? I'm a marketing consultant. And so I get the question, oh, okay, so what is it that you do as a marketing consultant? And so like, okay. So I immediately start with the hookup that I believe in building relationships. I don't know if you heard of Simon Sinek.
No.
Simon Sinek is like a British renowned speaker and a communication expert, and he developed the theory of the golden circle. I teach it at the university, and so in the golden circle, he says that people don't buy what you do; they buy why you do it.
Nice. I like that.
And he always takes the example of Apple, because Apple, is familiar to everyone. And he says that Apple didn't come and say, I sell computers. Apple came and say, I believe in thinking differently.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Apple was able to develop phones and TV and watches and iPods and stuff, and while other competitive brands were not able to go this far. So it's, so that's how I changed the way I start my speaking about myself. So I say, okay, I believe in building relationships, and I offer tailored marketing services. So and I explain it as I started it in your at first when you wanted me to introduce myself.
Good. No, that was good. So the next question is, what's your advice to marketing consultants who are just getting started?
So okay. I just want to tell them that fear is very natural, and they might find themselves very lost and afraid not to recruit clients. But I really recommend them to do what I did. I used to have like 2-3 online mentors. They were not really mentors, but I mean they had like so many YouTube tutorials about entrepreneurship. So really they have the answer to so many questions that we have. What to do when you have 0 client at first, what to do, how to network when you are an introvert, what to do when to do a website when you have that limited means, and for example, how to do to fulfill a portfolio when you're not you don't have any clients yet. And this one I can answer now. You certainly have friends around you, so you can offer to do at the beginning for free services. This way you can start to build your portfolio and get your experience on the ground. But when you do, like when you have this religious organization about networking, that's as much important as building your online a platform, and and recruiting clients. So this discipline pays at the end. And please don't be waiting for things to come for you. You should give, give, give in order for people to give you back. So
Totally agree.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's very, very good advice. So I would like to thank you for joining us again. I do appreciate you taking time out of your day to join me, and for you, time out of your evening, day for me, to join me today for this Marketing Matters podcast. Tell people how they can reach you.
They can reach me. They can reach me easily on my email. So it's tina@tinarousse.com. So it's I'm gonna spell it. It's Tina TinaRousse.com. And it's the easiest way for them to reach me, because I'm located in Lebanon, and they can WhatsApp me too. So if you want, I can share my number.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so with the Lebanon code, it's 009613496141. Okay, so they can call me on WhatsApp or WhatsApp me. It will be my pleasure to help them. And they, of course, can check my Instagram platform, Tina Rousse Consultancy.
Perfect. Thank you again, Tina, for joining us.